Right. Okay, welcome to From Stress to Resilience. This is actually the third recording in a series of 5. So I just wanted to say that at the beginning so everyone knows sugar mastery in case we're watching the replays. And I set these up in a playlist so they're easier to watch them, or flip to the ones that you need, or you can watch them in fast. You can change the speed of the recording when you play it back too. So I'm gonna change my screen or share my screen. I can find the right one here. I think that's it. My other screen changed. Do you guys just see the PowerPoint, or do you see my notes and stuff?
We can see your notes.
Okay, I figured it did the wrong one. Okay. Let me, I could just show you my notes too. Okay, this happens differently when I've got people on here with me. It's just weird. Okay, let's do this again. And of course, I don't see my notes. Just wing it. Go. Okay, from stress to resilience. So it's been a common theme that I'm seeing in the group that people are getting sick, and they're getting certain things that are going around over and over, the flu as well as the COVID virus. And it's taking them a long time to bounce back. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, because one of the big stressors in our life can be persistent or repeated illnesses, things that just keep coming back, or they just won't go away, or you're just not getting better as fast as you used to. And I know that some people have been telling me that they haven't been sick for years and years. And then a few months ago, they started getting a cold, and then they got the virus, and then they got the flu, and it's just been piling up. So that's a lot of stress. Another big source of stress can be physical stress, due to an injury, or it can be due to what you're eating in your diet, like sugar, processed food, deep fried foods. Physical stress can be from surgery, some kind of addiction, or even physical abuse. Emotional stress can be from a challenging marriage, a divorce, death of loved ones, strained work relationships, a new baby, financial insecurity, any number of hardships. And environmental stress is becoming a bigger and bigger thing, especially when you're trying to deal with blood sugar imbalances. They're saying now that blood sugar imbalance is due to some chemicals. And I'm going to be talking more about that in the coming months, but there's chemical pollution. There's over 80,000 different chemicals now that are in and around our environment. And of course, we don't have control of the air, the water, some of the food, and it's in drugs, but just being aware of it, being conscious of it, that you want to try to eat everything as clean as possible. And, in the stress and resilience, like if you looked at a coin, one side is stress, the other side is resilience. And that's how well you bounce back, how well you come back. And in the middle of that, of course, is your life. And self-talk and your thoughts, they can be helpful or harmful, as you know. And some of us, this was me. I used to talk to myself like I would never, ever talk to anyone else. And so I want everyone to just be aware that if some negative self-talk comes in or you're putting yourself down, just flip that around, flip it around. It'll help you so much. And of course, we're all dealing with family relationships, work relationships, our community and our networks. Over the last 2 years, we've had a lot of stress. People, government agencies and other agencies trying to cut us off from our community, cut us off from our networks of support. And it's really critical to connect with other people whenever you can, because staying in isolation is just not the answer. We need other people, and we need that community connection or family connection, good relationships at work. So some of the things that affect your resilience, of course, would be sleep. We want to make sure that we're getting enough sleep. And next week, we're going to be talking more about sleep, but I know that jobs and different schedules come into effect, but in the ideal scenario, your body is set up to go with the rhythms of the moon and the sun in your sleep patterns. So it's ideal to be asleep by the latest at 10 o'clock and to sleep for 8 hours. Some people need 9, especially if they're in healing mode. And your blood sugar balance. When your blood sugar is not in balance, you can have huge mood swings. You can go from 0 to being super angry in 30 seconds or less. There's just so many aspects of our life. Our blood sugar is balanced by our hormones, probably more so than our diet and lifestyle, but we're using that to bring that into balance in this program. So of course, good nutrition. You don't want to eat, sugar and the trans fats, because that throws all of these things out. And try not to skip meals, because you can get really hangry when you haven't eaten. And minimize or even just ditch the caffeine, because caffeine is best eliminated. I mean, some people use it as a crutch, and it's actually just stressing your whole system, because you're using it, it gives you a false sense of energy, when I would like to see everyone that I'm working with wake up in the morning and just feel fantastic, where they don't even think about caffeine. Their body is making the energy that they need to feel fantastic. And I usually recommend gentle exercise, because a lot of us are in a healing mode, and rigorous, heavy duty exercise, when you're not used to it, even when you are used to it, it can make your cortisol and other hormones just go sky high. It throws your blood sugar out of balance. And it's just not really healthy for most people that are in a healing mode. If you have a personal coach that's working you like that, but even at one point in my journey, I had a personal coach who took me from the couch to CrossFit for 45 minutes. And it took me 3 days to recover. I just didn't, my adrenal glands and everything were so exhausted. There's no way that I should have been doing that. So gentle exercise would be things like dancing around your house, walking, bouncing, even lightly bouncing on a rebounder, those little trampolines, and self-care practices. So maybe put in the chat some of the self-care practices that work for you. And I have a list of 30 of them that I put out a couple years ago that I may share that, afterwards. But really just want to talk about why, what, how, like what is really going on when we're stressed that we don't really think about, because a lot of us have been in stress mode so long that we don't even know that we are. It's almost a norm in our society. We have a nerve that starts at the back of our head, and it's the longest nerve in the body. It's called the vagus nerve, and you may have heard of it. It is what activates our rest and digest and recreate systems, fertilization systems. And the opposite of that is the fight and flight mode and freeze. And that's usually, where most of us are, but we don't even know it. And so some of we almost have to proactively activate this nerve. And some of the ways you can do it are deep breathing, throat singing, since it's starting, in the back of our head or the back of our neck, kind of is where it starts. So when you do like really, or humming, we'll do it, gargling and dancing, being out in nature. But when our vagus nerve is not activated, our digestive system freezes up. As you can see here, it needs to be activated in order for it regulates our heartbeat, it regulates our breath, regulates our liver, our gallbladder, our stomach, spleen, pancreas, large and small intestine, our kidneys, our bladder, our uterus and ovaries, all of our pelvic nerves. And it's just critical that this is in a relaxed state. Otherwise, these things can freeze up. The muscle action peristalsis that pushes food and nutrients it pushes food through our digestive tract. If it's frozen, the food doesn't move through, and then the nutrients don't absorb into our bloodstream. So it's critical that we're in the rest and digest mode especially when we're eating. And like I said, a lot of people don't even realize that they are in the stress mode. So I've told a lot of people about this, but I want to say it again, that there's actually an app that reads the time space between your heartbeats, and it tells you if you're in calm or relaxed, or if you're medium, or if you're stressed. And it gives you a reading on your mental stress, your body energy stress, and your productivity, your energy, and just your basic stress level. And this is a free app. It's called Weltory app. And I highly recommend that everyone download this, because I would love to see you in the green mode before you eat. And I've had some people that tell me, Tami, I'll starve to death if I have to be in the green mode before I eat, because they're always stressed. And when you're in that red mode, it's what shows up when it's stressed. And when you're in that red mode, that's when you're susceptible to illnesses, just not feeling good all the time and just a lot of different things is when you're susceptible to all the things that we talked about first. And so who has the weltory app? Michelle has it. Have you been using it? Yeah, you like it? Okay. So I'm going to stop that recording and start another one.